Welcome to Synthetic Oil Protection. I'm your host, Eben, and today we're going to be talking about transmission do's and don'ts. We're here with Zach. How's it going, Zach? Good. And we're actually here at a event here that Jeff's actually doing a magic show. It's called Wonderground. And the reason why we were late with starting the live show today, Thursday Night Live, is because we actually got a new mobile microphone that I'm going to use with my camera. And it's like a wireless mic, and it's called the GoPro Mobile. You have my bag there? I think he's got it. Take it out, let's show it to him. So yeah, so we were going to be bringing you some really high quality content. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to pair it in time. I was trying the last 20 minutes, I couldn't figure it out. So here it is, it's called a Samsung wireless GoPro Mobile, and it's got dual microphones, so two people can have their own clip right on their shirt. And this is one of the receiver packs. You just put it right in your pocket, and that's it. It's real easy. But there's a microphone. This is the mic, what it looks like, and it just clips right to your shirt, and that's it. So we're going to be setting that up for next time. We're stepping up the quality of the content on the channel, but this time we're going to be talking about transmissions, do's and don'ts, and some gray area information on, what you can do with your transmission to make it run better. Now, Zach, if you want, Zach, we'll get out the tripod, open that up. We'll put it up on the tripod. But so where did you work at before you moved to Vegas? You worked where?
I moved to Vegas. I worked at a small shop in northern Wyoming called Bob's Auto.
All right, so Zach used to work at a shop, and he did all kinds of work. What all work did he do?
Did a lot of engine building, and then a lot of just basic maintenance in general. Pulled a lot of transmissions, built a couple differentials, stuff like that.
All right.
Did a couple of build projects. One of my customers had like a '08 Ford, and he decided he wanted to put a first-gen Cummins motor in there, so I did a little bit of stuff like that. A couple of my employer also had like a Dodge Rampage.
All right.
And it's kind of like a old school El Camino, versus the Dodge style. And I got to take and put it had a 2-liter slant motor in it, and I put a 2.5-liter slant motor, which wasn't meant to be in there. So,
all right.
I'm learning cool little stuff like that working over there.
Sweet. That's really cool. So what else? I'm trying to get this tripod here. Get this one here. Tell us more about your automotive experience.
Over the years, I guess I started out at a small shop called Auto Works, and I did school to work during high school, kind of learning about cars and stuff. And then I had moved on to going to college.
Just hold it there. Hold it on the side over here, in the back. There you go. You got it. Good.
I had gone to college over at UTI, and it took about 2 years. Got my associate's degree in automotive and diesel.
All right.
And then, so after that, I had moved up to Montana and spent a couple years at a surface quarry, actually working on heavy equipment, semis and stuff. And it was definitely a really interesting experience. After that, I had moved on back to Wyoming, and then I was working towards actually buying my own shop. Wound up, instead of buying my own shop, moving on to bigger and better things that interest me a little more.
Cool. So tell them that you became an AMSOIL dealer now. Tell them.
Oh yeah, I had recently become an AMSOIL dealer, and I'm super excited to really get out there and start meeting some new people and create my own little community.
What's the name of your channel?
I started a new channel called Synthetic Media.
All right. Sweet. And we'll try setting it right here. Awesome. So yeah, so he's Zach's new to doing the whole AMSOIL thing. Getting his toes wet with it. We got the tripod set up.
Definitely have a lot of knowledge in cars and engines and stuff for sure, though. It's definitely been impressive working with this product. I definitely enjoy working with high-end products, so it's definitely my style.
Sweet. Awesome. You know what? You can actually sit closer so you'll be heard better.
For sure.
You sit right there. Awesome. I'll sit over here. Yeah, we should be good. All right. So we're doing it. We're at this hookah lounge, and it's just getting ready to start warming up. And Jeff's actually in the back getting dressed. So Jeff is our master technician. If you don't know Jeff, he's the guy with the beard. He owns Express Lube and Auto Repair, and his garage is right there on Boulder Highway in Tropicana, and he's there all the time. He is the #1 man. About 13 years of experience, I believe, in the military. He did ground vehicles and also all kinds of vehicles in not jets, but I think helicopters and a couple other aircraft. Top secret, I think. I don't know. You'll have to ask Jeff about it. But so he's back there getting all taken care of. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about transmissions a little bit. Now, Zach here's got a lot of experience working at shops. He's got a lot of good opinions, and we've actually talked a lot about transmissions already and what makes them really, what makes the transmissions wonderful. It makes them shift better and drive better, better gas mileage, better performance.
Right.
And what were we talking about? Your Subaru. We were mentioning something about a mix on it.
Oh yeah, I was I've done a little research on different fluids, and I've learned a little bit about a fluid called synchromesh and why it was designed. And I guess Chevy had needed to pay Pennzoil to design that fluid, so they didn't have to recall a ton of transmissions. And so it's basically the same thing as a GL5, except for it's a lot thinner. And so it helps make it a little easier to shift on, you know, a lot of different cars. So a car like my Subaru, if you put a little bit of thinner oil like that synchromesh in there, it will actually make it shift so much better. And it'll actually make the lockout plates and stuff, like when you go to downshift into first gear, those will move a little easier, so you can shift at a little higher speeds and stuff.
So AMSOIL on their bottle of synchromesh fluid, it actually used to say 5W30, because I guess it's about a 5W30 weight oil.
Very similar.
Yeah, it's very similar, but I think there are some modifiers that they put in there.
I would assume they have like foam modifiers and stuff to knock down the foam.
Anti-foaming. So what happens in a transmission, especially like a manual, is you know, a whisk. When you put a whisk in whipped cream or milk or whatever, you get the air bubbles. It gets fluffy. It froths up, and then basically you just have air, and you have this foam that has no protection. So basically, what the properties that are in synchromesh, it's a General Motors specification, you said?
It's just General Motors specific fluid.
All right,
It
was designed for a General Motors specific fluid,
and at the same time, it's still
used in many other vehicles. Yep. And what they do is they put these proprietary additives that don't allow it to whisk, foam, and then once the air gets in between there, in between the gears, you get this metal on metal, and then you get all kinds of metallic in your transmission. Your transmission wears out quicker. So that's kind of the difference between 100% synthetic synchromesh that AMSOIL would have compared to a regular OEM 530 or something like that. So we're actually getting ready to do something really cool with his Subi. What year, make, and model is it?
It's a 2000 Subaru Legacy. It's just the base model.
All right, it's the base model. And he's got a couple modifications to it. But we're getting ready to do a really cool video where we're going to show the power difference from all the fluids changed.
Yep.
So he's got all the fluids ready to go. Now we're getting the dyno set up so we can get the dyno ready to strap the car up. And then we're going to be doing before and after horsepower numbers. And you know, the biggest question mark is, you know, really what type of power does a flush do? What type of horsepower by getting better compression can you make? And we're going to show those numbers on a thoroughly used 2000
That's right. We didn't
Legacy.
know it has 200,000 miles on it.
200,000
so
miles.
definitely wore in. You know
So
what I'm
it's a real world vehicle that you know, viewers like you, a lot of them have these 4 cylinders, like Zach, and they want to know, if I switch all my fluids, what can I really expect? There's a lot of people, they don't believe that there's much of a difference. Now we switched your truck, and what did we do to your truck?
We had just done the oil, a PI Performer, and this Improver, and then added the coolant boost Dominator. and it's impressive the difference it's made. Even honestly, I still gotta say, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected to only burn like 4 gallons of fuel earlier. Or
So what
yesterday.
would you guess, if you just had to make a guess, what would you say the power difference from what we did and the gas mileage, roughly, what would you estimate? If you had to make an estimation. Because we're going to find out the real numbers
I
when we
still
do
feel
it.
like it's hard to tell just by driving a car.
What
Putting
would
in a
you
dyno
guess?
would like
Yeah, well I know
really
the dyno is going to
solidify
give
some
exactly,
numbers,
yeah. But what would you guess?
With that old truck, it'd be a percentage. I'd say maybe like 5%, something like that. Gain from just
In
those things.
all right, so in horsepower, what would you say? If you
Or
had to make a
efficiency.
guess? What would you guess?
Horsepower.
If you had to make a guess.
You'd be amazed. Wouldn't be amazed if it could do like 5 or 10 horsepower or something like
So
that.
your
Changing
guess-
from a conventional oil to a synthetic.
And then that's the flush that
And
we
being
did.
such a high quality oil and stuff too.
So you would guess on your truck about 5 to 10 horsepower.
Yeah.
That's what you guessed that it did. All right. So yeah. So I mean, I know I've done a lot of the changes. Like on my Corvette, I had a 2004 C5 Corvette, and now that's actually totaled, which I'm going to be showing the video coming up. It's hilarious. The accident wasn't my fault. I can laugh about it now. No one died. That's all that counts.
Yep.
But basically, I did all these little changes on my Corvette, but one increment at a time. And I would guess, like in the motor oil with the flush on my Corvette, I would say it did 3 horsepower. You know, doing the coolant with the Dominator might have did 5 horsepower. So but it's all relevant to how degraded the old coolant was. Because if you put fresh fluids in even OEM, you're going to see a difference. But with AMSOIL, it's just a little bit more of a difference. And here in a week or so, there's going to be no guessing. We're going to have the
we're
real
gonna know
numbers.
exactly
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yep. So we're going to heat soak his car like he's driving in traffic because
Run the air conditioning.
Yes,
All that
on the air
jazz.
conditioning. Yeah. So so many people they cool these cars off with fans and they get their best numbers, and we're not putting any fans on his engine because. When you drive out here in Vegas, there's almost zero cooling. And you say, well, what do you mean when you drive there's air? Well, not really. So
Well, you get
listen to
some,
this.
like,
Listen to this. We're at 2,000 feet above sea level. And then in the summer, we're at anywhere from 101 to 115 in the dead of summer. So, air thins out as it gets hotter, right? And basically, there's just nothing hitting that radiator at this height. So there's like zero cooling. So that's why we're going to do a raw dyno pull with no fans, and we're going to see,
What
what's
comes
the heat
from
like.
it?
What's it like?
What are the results?
So I'm sure you have some questions. Go ahead and start leaving some questions in the comments. And we brought a bottle of oil, of course. If you saw it last week, if you did, we still got the whole super chat thing going. I'm going to take a look right now and see if anybody super chatted. But what it is, it's this cool feature that you can tip the YouTube channel. You can donate to the YouTube channel. And when you do that, both Jeff and I split it. And then if we have another person here, we'll kick them a couple bucks too. So the whole community thrives off that. That'll mean a lot. But it's a feature where you can leave a comment. It gets highlighted up, and everybody can see it. And you can just donate to the channel. YouTube, I think, started doing that a year ago.
That's been a while.
And if someone super chats $20, I told them, see this right here? Boom! I'll power slap the bottle if anybody super chats $20. And then also, there's other amounts you can do. You can tip like $5 or $10 or whatever else. And but we just want you to know that you don't ever have to tip any money to the channel. Just watching it and being a part of the community. Yeah, being a part of the community is fine. We're not trying to get any money out of any one person. That's not what we're here for. But it is going to be fun though as it develops and we keep the channel going.
Right.
And our master technician Jeff. He's the big hot shot with all the experience, much more experience in the battlefields than me. And he's going to be getting half the money from the super chats too, so it's going to really help out Jeff. Because we want to answer all your questions, even if it's not lube, even if it's just a car problem. ask us. We'll try to diagnose it for you. You know, Jeff knows this stuff in his sleep. You know, he just does it
Like the back of his hand.
the back of his hand. He just does it with his eyes closed. Now he goes, oh, what is that? Oh, that's a starter, or you know, whatever else. So I'm going to come around the camera right now, see what questions you have, and we're going to start answering between Zach and I. You know, Zach's probably got more experience working in the shop than me. You know, I've just done a lot of lube, a lot of oil changes, and you know, I've sold cars and I've worked buying cars and been around cars for 15 years now. But you know, we're going to ask him a bunch of questions and put him to work, and we're helping him build his channel too. So he's getting his channel going, and he's an AMSOIL dealer now, so you can sign up accounts and help other people, and he's learning a lot, and he's itching so much to try this oil change on his Subaru. I can't wait.
We've been pushing for some dyno type so hard for a while now.
Yeah.
It just seems to be really, really booked out here in Vegas. They got 2 dynos, and there's just so many people.
So we
Seems
got
like one of
Chris.
these days-
How's it going, Chris? Chris did a little clap. We got hot, humid weather in Indiana from Mason Peck. Thanks, Mason, for checking out the channel. We also got Chris 9X, just a bad here in Vegas. 106 feels like a blow dryer. That's true.
Yes.
And then we got Matt Clapper watching from Ohio. Thanks, Matt, for tuning in and checking out the channel. And now, Zach, tell us a little bit about throttle. He loves this throttle thing. I don't even know what throttle is. Tell some of our viewers.
Throttle is a website, first of all.
All right.
Okay.
Now look at Zach. He moved into the camera.
Yeah.
He can't wait to tell you about throttle. So tell us more.
Well, okay. First of all, it's a website,
All right.
and they have classifieds where you could sell used car parts, or you could sell buy used car parts. You could also sell cars or buy cars. So it's kind of like, you know, Auto Trader and different things. But there's also you know, VIP program, which is a subscription program, where
Just
if you
talk
subscribe
to the camera. You don't
to
have the mic yet.
if you subscribe to VIP, then you get random just dropping off. Okay, so VIP is a program where so Throttle also sells aftermarket parts. Okay, they're an aftermarket parts distributor.
Alright.
And so what you do is if you're a VIP, you get anywhere from 10 to 40% off on aftermarket parts, and they have 300 different brands that they stock. So it's definitely something to check out if you're
Just
into
talk at the
modifying
camera,
cars.
Zach, because you don't have that microphone yet. It's okay. We're getting them used to this now.
I gotta get used to it. It's definitely it's not used to talking to a camera, but
We're getting them used to it. Well, you're not talking to the camera, Zach.
well,
You see
yeah,
through
that's
that
true.
lens
That's
right
true.
there?
But
You see through that lens right there,
They
Zach?
don't see what I see.
Zach, there's like 15, 20 people right there
That's
looking
true.
at us
That
right
is
now.
true.
Keep going. So tell us more
So,
about it.
Anyways, Throttle is has a subscription service where you can get discounts on car parts, and then they also give away cars. You know, they sit and build cars on a YouTube channel called Throttle, and every 4 months they've been giving away a car. So far, they've given away 4 cars.
All right.
The last one was a 240SX. They made a drift build. You know how crazy that is? That a group had made a drift car and just gave it to their subscribers or the people that support their cause. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right. That's cool. So now back to transmissions. What do you like, a manual or an automatic? What do you like better?
Okay, first of all, it really depends on what you're using your car for. If you're just daily driving it and you just want to enjoy it, I love manuals. Even if I'm driving in the city, I don't mind shifting and slamming 2 gears. That's like my favorite thing about my car. But if you're trying to make like a race car or a drag car or something, you're definitely going to want to have an automatic transmission. Or, I mean, honestly, if you're building a car that's not meant to have like 1,000 horsepower, that came with like maybe 200 to 300 horsepower, if you're going to build something like that, you're going to want to, you know, have an automatic transmission so when it puts down that power, it doesn't just slam that rear differential and start breaking things. Because it's really what happens when you have a manual transmission. You just drop that clutch and you can start causing damage to parts and components because of the shock load, which an automatic transmission has a torque converter, which breaks torque, and then you don't have half as much shock load on the drivetrain components. You still put down just as much power and it shifts faster.
Well, you put down a little less power, I think, with the efficiency loss in an automatic. A little bit less. Or not.
I feel like a torque converter is like supposed to, it's debatable. I'd have to do some research.
All right. From what I'm aware, the manuals are a little bit more efficient, but you're saying if you drop the clutch, it can tweak stuff.
That's not on stock. I was talking about modifying cars because I like to modify cars.
All right.
So if you had a car that was like 200 horsepower and you modified it to 600 horsepower, which is 3 times what it's supposed to have,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to want to have an automatic transmission and build it.
A built automatic.
Yeah, most likely you're going
Or
to
you
have
could
a
even
built-in
build
shaft
a manual too. I mean, you can build both, but
yeah.
That's cool.
But manuals just don't seem to handle as much power for most manufacturers. Like I have DSM. In my DSM, the transmission is a standard and the max on that. Even
What's
after
DSM? Is that the name of the manufacturer?
The manufacturer is called Diamond Star Motors. It's a Mitsubishi Eclipse or an Eagle Talon or it's a Plymouth Laser. Those 3 cars were all the same car.
That's cool.
And so that's like the type of car that I have and enjoy. It's kind of like the newer BRZ or the Toyota 86 or the Scion that they have. It's all the same model, but different manufacturers.
All right, cool. So let's see. Tell us, what do you think about automatic transmissions like diesel trucks, or have you ever worked on anything like that? Anything diesel transmissions?
You folks okay over there?
I actually
guys
don't
okay
think
with
I've actually had to pull transmissions out of diesel trucks. A lot of those seem to last a long time. A lot of the people that came to Bob's Auto had a lot of Chevys, and Chevys have a pretty reliable Allison transmission in them.
All right. So you like that stuff? All right. Let's see if we have any questions with transmissions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. We'll answer anything you got. And also, if you're watching and enjoying this stuff, we're going to be stepping it up big time. We got our microphone, we have a wireless mic that we're going to start using. We're just over here. If you're just joining in now, we actually started late today because we're trying to get this wireless mic setup working. So I was playing with it, I couldn't figure it out. It just is driving me nuts. But I'll show you what it looks like. It's a Samsung wireless for mobile phones. And it's a little teeny receiver, super small. So here's the receiver that goes on your body. This you just put in your pocket. And then you got this little teeny receiver that goes on the phone. And this is what the receiver looks like. It's like a little teeny receiver. It goes on any smartphone or even a DSLR camera. And it allows you to do dual microphones. So 2 people can have a mic. And I was trying to pair it earlier and it wouldn't pair with my phone. I have a Samsung S7 phone and I just couldn't get it to work.
We got one of them to work, we just couldn't get them both to work.
No, we couldn't get any audio on one.
Yeah, that was the problem. One of them wasn't getting audio.
No, both weren't, I don't think.
I thought yours was. You were way louder. You were closer to the camera though. That's probably why. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. We're learning this technology.
So,
it's pretty awesome.
We're getting this all figured out, but so yeah, we're gonna have this little guy working for next time, so you can hear us perfect. So we're stepping it up. Let's see if we've got any questions here. Let's see. Got any other questions? We got a bunch of cool people, off the grid lifestyle. All right, just bad in Vegas. Cool. All right, so we got some cool people. Got 6 people watching. All right. So yeah, so it's a little bit of a wall without Jeff. He'll be out in a minute. Jeff will be here to talk to you and give you some information on transmissions. So with me, the transmission that was in my car was a manual transmission in my Corvette, and it's called a T56 transmission, which they put in a bunch of like Aston Martins, and I think they put in a bunch of like sports cars. And what it is, it's this rear-mounted transmission on my C5 Corvette, and they're pretty robust. I think they hold about 450 pound-feet of torque stock. And if you go over that, you can twist them. Like third gear can pop. So I think third gear is a thinner gear. It's not as thick. And if you floor it, you can pop that gear. Once it breaks, I think parts go apart in there and it wrecks the whole transmission. But as far as fourth gear, I'm sure that's pretty tough. I'm sure you could put down 500 torque, 600 torque with it in fourth gear. Fourth gear is direct drive, so it's the strongest gear on most of the manual transmissions. It's, yep. What?
Actually, on my style transmission, there's a failure where so the third and fourth gear is in the center of the transmission.
All right.
And what happens is when you put down enough torque on my setup, because you can't easily, the motor will handle 1,000 horsepower stock.
Right.
So if you put down too much torque, it'll actually flex the main shaft, and then you can end up breaking your transmission between third and fourth gear.
Alright. How much power does
And that only
break?
happens in like third and fourth gear. You wouldn't have as much of an issue in first or second or fifth because they're on the ends of the main shaft. You know what I'm saying?
So how much torque will that Legacy transmission hold?
The Mitsubishi would probably hold, I think the breaking point of my Mitsubishi is about 400 foot-pounds of torque. And that's about when you start shattering the 3/4 slider and different other things could happen.
Alright. So that gives you an idea of like what you can do with manual transmissions. They have their thresholds. You know, now we're going to talk a little bit about oil and the viscosities that are in these manual transmissions. So manual transmissions can have like 4 different types, and it's really interesting. So the transmission on my Corvette actually takes a automatic transmission fluid. So I know that doesn't make any sense, but it's just what they take. So it's called like a multi-vehicle ATF fluid. AMSOIL makes it, and it's a fairly thin red regular ATF fluid. Goes inside the manual transmission, and I believe it's for a little bit more fuel efficiency and also the way the gears are designed inside. And I didn't have any problems with mine. I heard from some people, if you're watching, if you have any updates on if anybody ever put like a 75 W90 in a T56
So
transmission.
I have a story for you.
All right.
So I was working at a shop called Montana Rockworks, and we had a service truck. And that service truck had a standard transmission. Well, it had a second port on the back of the transmission, and you had to fill it with ATF.
All right.
And if you didn't fill it with ATF, it would seize the bearing in there. And so what had happened is the bearing had seized, and that's when the whole process had gone, because they were always putting like 75/90 in there, like you'd normally put in a transmission. And so after we got that fixed, the transmission shifted so well and the truck ran so much better, but someone had definitely mixed up the fluids there and put the wrong fluid in, which had seized that bearing.
All right. So the thick oil in a T56.
It wasn't a T56 though, it was my
Right.
Ford service truck. So it's like a 97 Ford with
So
a
what
5.7
fluid-
or
what
a
fluid did that-
7.3 liter.
All right. So what fluid was that transmission supposed to take?
It was supposed to take an ATF,
All right. So
which
that's
was
what.
I found interesting at that time, but as time has gone on, I've learned that's not unusual.
All right. So that's what happens when you take a manual transmission that's supposed to have automatic transmission fluid. When you put the thicker 75W90, which is a very popular manual transmission gear lube, that's a GL5 specification. When you put that in the transmission that's supposed to take the ATF, the oil can't get inside bearings. Is that what happened?
I just think they weren't properly lubricated.
It's too thick.
It's too thick.
It's too thick. So that's what can happen. So yeah, it might be better between the gears. It might be smoother, but if you starve a bearing, you're gonna have metal on metal, and you're gonna wear out the bearing. The bearing's gonna flat side, and then it's gonna come apart eventually.
Seize up something.
Yeah.
Bad things happen.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about transmissions, just ask us. So, you know, one of the definitely the do's and don'ts. The do's is put the right fluid in.
Yes.
The
Yes.
don'ts is don't put the wrong fluid in. Just, that's what happens. And then the other part, yeah.
At the same time, though, like we were talking about synchromesh earlier,
All right.
that's not exactly specified for Subarus, but honestly, if you go look into Subaru forums online, a lot of those Subaru forums actually type in like Subarus and synchromesh. A lot of people actually prefer it and promote swapping and putting a little bit of synchromesh in with your fluid change.
All
So it
right.
helps with shifting better and downshifting and stuff along those lines.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, so there's some elements to the transmissions and how they shift. So tell them, what are we going to be doing on yours? We're going to be doing a little mix. Yours calls for 75/90, right?
Yep.
But we're going to add
Probably about half a quart. Since this only takes like what, two or three quarts?
I think his manual transmission
really
only
not a
takes
lot.
3 quarts. This is a quart, so it takes 3 quarts.
So we'll probably put about half a quart, so it's not like. And honestly, we could go as much as we want, but I'd like to stay close to that 75/90, but add something else to kind of help make it, function better.
All right. So how much synchromesh are you going to put in? You think?
Half a quart.
About half a quart. So he plans on doing 2.5 quarts of 75/90, and then half a quart of synchromesh. And the reason is because he's got knowledge from doing.
Just research and stuff with that fluid in general.
All right. Cool. So yeah, so those are some things we're going to be looking forward to on the channel. Doing that Subi and just trying some different stuff with it. Jeff, we don't know where he is. We're helpless without him. No, we're not. Jeff's back there getting his suit on. He's actually going to be here at this hookah lounge. And what I'll do is I'll show you what the front of it looks like. There we go. I'll show you what it looks like. Let's do it. All right, so we're here at, it's called the Olive Mediterranean. Pretty cool hookah lounge. Got the back right here. Coming on into here. We're going to shoot in. Here's the kitchen back here. Got lots of... And yeah, we're on the West Coast, so it's still sunlight. And this is the Olive Mediterranean. There's a magic meetup here every third Thursday. It's called Jeff McBride's Wonderground. And right behind us is the airport. And believe it or not, Wayne Newton lives right on the airport. It's pretty interesting. So it's funny. It can be loud down here. These damn planes just keep coming out of the woodworks every like 55 seconds. I think a plane's touching down here in Vegas. I think Vegas is number 8 airport in the world. I think number 8. So they do conventions that are just crazy. But we're here at the Olive Mediterranean Hookah Lounge. And the reason why we're here today is because Jeff, the master technician, is doing a magic event here. And he's actually getting out of his comfort zone. I think this is his first time. So this is his first time doing the Wonderground thing, which is really good. I'm happy he's getting out and pushing himself and getting better. And then Zach, little recap if you just joined the channel. Zach became an AMSOIL dealer, so now he's out educating himself on it. He's talking to people about the products, and now he's trying all the products in his vehicle. And there's another plane. There it is. There it is. And the wind is blowing absolutely perfect, so it's super quiet. So yeah, so Zach's getting into it, and you'll see a video. I'll put a little link right here in the corner where we did an engine flush on Zach's car. And what's your truck again? It's a
77 K10.
77 K10, which he swapped the engine out to a...
It's got a TBI engine out of, I think it was a 93 pickup.
All right, really cool. Yeah, so he likes playing with cars and just really getting into them and tinkering them and getting them dialed in and modifying them. Yeah. And he got such a kick out of that engine flush when we did it on his truck. He just completely popped his bearings.
That's intense. Again, lost words here. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But again, it's not talk.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah. So we did premium protection, AMSOIL 10W40 premium protection, and that's a little bit thicker. I think that engine calls for a 530, right?
Yeah.
OEM. But we went with a 1040. It's got high zinc in it, and his truck's like a classic. It's a flat tappet, right?
Yep.
And the zinc helps out with the flat tappets a little bit, smooths it out. And I tell you what, when it's 110 degrees out here, that thing just purrs like it sounds like a scooter.
Driving it over the speedway yesterday was definitely fun. It was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
A little warm, but
Tell them
these days I'll get some air conditioning in it.
Tell them what happened with the heat.
So we were heading over there, and we were just lucky. We get off the interstate at the speedway, and then here's this big Sinclair gas station, and as I'm going to pass by it, my truck starts to stutter. And I'm like, oh, that feels like I'm running out of fuel. So because it's a fuel injected in a carbureted vehicle, fuel sloshes and stuff, and so I was just debating on if it was a little low on fuel. So we pull into the fuel and fuel it up, and it takes 4 gallons. I'm like, well, there's more than 4 gallons to go in. So it's not the fuel. We got to looking it over, and we got the truck a little hot, and it wore out the ignition module. I actually got to digging into it today and pulled the ignition module out, and it was original from 1993. I'm amazed to see that thing still in there.
All right, so there you go. With 110 degrees, you say, what's going to fail on a car? Is it going to be the battery? Is it going to be the motor oil? You burn off so much more oil, you have no more motor oil.
The radiator cap.
Yeah, is the radiator cap going to crack? Is a hose going to pop? What's going to happen? Boom, what happened?
That was exactly it.
What happened? Tell them.
Stopping right there at the gas station.
Yeah, but what was it though? The exact thing that broke?
It was the ignition module.
The ignition module. So
the worst part was we're sitting there at the gas station, and then 10 minutes later, I fire the truck right up. But we knew it was going to get warm and then turn off down the street, so we had no choice but to tow it home.
The camera's getting hot. The camera's getting hot in my hand. We got to go back in.
Yeah.
We got to go back in. All right, we're going back in. So we're going back into the Olive Mediterranean. There's Wonderground. Pretty cool get together. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Cool. All right. So we're back inside, and here's a good magician friend, Danny. He's doing some magic. Pretty cool guy. And now we're back here. There's all the hookah. And now we're back inside. We're back inside to the set. All right. So we're back. All right, we're back.
Yeah, some nice cool guys.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look if we got any other questions here. We got a few here. Mitch, Matt, Clapper. Lots of cool people tuning in. Mason Peck. So if you have any questions on transmissions, just ask us. If you have any questions about fluids, if you're just have any questions about motor oil, ATF, transmission fluid, coolant, brake fluid, just let us know. And we're still going to keep going on with some trans. So what do you think is more important, differentials or transmissions? I mean, what do you think is more important to service?
Honestly, you want to service them both. I truthfully, the way I like to service my cars, I'm going to change the oil and the differential or the transmission every 30,000 miles.
So what he's saying is you just do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
You just do the trans and the differential at 30,000 miles. You know, we actually did a video on transmissions, which I'll put right up here in the corner. We did that with a friend of mine, Steven. And Steven works at AMCO Transmission, and he's got a good 3 years, I think, working there.
Okay.
And Steven's a real younger guy, but very experienced. He does all his own work on his bug. He's got a 300 horsepower bug, I believe. And so 300 horsepower and 1,500 pounds.
It's more than my Subaru.
I mean, whatever you want to call that. Steven's a total enthusiast. His name's Steven Carter. He's got a 400cc Banshee, I think, overboard. He takes that out to the dunes here in Vegas, and I mean he's such a great guy to get information on transmissions. And what he was saying, which I agree with, is out here if you're going to use OEM fluid, if you're not going to use an upgraded 100% synthetic, you're best doing your transmission at about 15 to 30,000 miles.
Okay.
And it was out here. That blacktop's 150 degrees. It bakes your ATF fluid. It thickens it. Some of it can even burn off. As it thickens, it actually loses its volume, and as it loses its volume, I mean, you're
evaporate out to the transmission bed, huh?
Yeah, and you're losing your ability to pull the heat out of the transmission. And so I mean, I agree with Steven. I mean, That sounds a little early, 15,000, but it's like,
Again,
I don't know.
it costs more to fix the transmission than it does to service it, honestly.
Yeah, filter, gasket kit, all the fluid was a few $100. I mean, it's like it's such an insignificant thing. It is time consuming. You got to put it up in your schedule when to change it, stuff like that. But and then the benefits are when you change it, it'll shift faster. It'll shift a lot faster. Your filter will be free of all that metallic. All the particles from the plates, the clutch plates shifting and engaging. All that particle ends up in the filter, and as the filter gets full of that stuff, it doesn't seem to shift as fast. And it's really nice to have a fast shifting transmission. It's exciting, ripping around, or even just the efficiency of holding a taller gear. If you have cruise control set and you're driving like 45 miles an hour, when you have good ATF fluid and a clean filter, you're not dropping the gear as much. It'll seem to hold a taller gear a little bit more. It'll seem to have less vibration, especially when you run like 100% synthetics. You have a lot less vibration and stuff like that. So what else? What else should everyone know about transmissions? They definitely do. What should they do?
What should they do to them? Well, again, I modify things. It's just your average everyday daily driver. Again, just keep up on your services. So you could push it to 60,000. Again, I like to cut that in half, just because again, I drop dark fluid out of cars at 60,000 miles. You know what I'm saying?
So when he says that he drops dark fluid out of cars, that means that there's physically a chemical change, and it's almost like burning butter. If you've ever put butter in a frying pan, you can warm it up, you can get it super hot, and it's just right, and then you can pour it on something or pancakes or whatever. It's great, whatever. Or you can get it to be just a little bit too hot. And what's going to happen? It's going to turn black. Yep. And when it turns black, there's a chemical change, and it's no longer basically a lube. Now, butter is a great lube. Don't get me wrong, not for your car. All right.
Well, see, but butter changes state back and forth. Let's take that as great. Let's go back.
It does. Solid, wet, whatever. But the point is, you burn it, and when it burns, it chars. And when it chars, it's a carcinogen. And a carcinogen is like a black carbon, and it's a physical chemical change. And that chemical change, when that happens inside your transmission, you actually start glazing the clutch plates, and the clutch plates glaze, and then your clutch plates don't adhere to other clutch plates the way they should.
Steels.
Yep.
Steels and clutch plates.
Steels, clutch plates, yep. And now all of a sudden, you got all this sandiness in your trans. Now you're sandblasting your transmission. Now you got these little particles, these little black carbons that are going in between the bearings. Now the bearings aren't rolling. Now the bearings are sliding and staying in one spot. Now,
scarring.
Now you can drag and scarring. And before you know it, you do one little tow to Big Bear or a surrounding mountain around here, do a little 200-mile drive, and you tow like a trailer, and you can totally destroy a transmission in 300-mile trip where it'll actually lock up or it won't shift anymore. You can't get it out of gear, and that can happen in 300 miles. And it's this really cool term, and the exact name is called thermal runaway. And what happens is it's like when you burn butter, within 2 seconds you can go from hot butter to burn butter. Well, you do that to the ATF fluid, and now you got this sandpaper in your transmission. Now you're towing, and you're going downgrade, where you're holding a gear and your engine braking. Now all of a sudden, all that heat's loading up in the transmission, overheats, and before you know it, totally sees your transmission. And it's a pretty cool term. You can check it out, thermal runaway. AMSOIL has a lot of information on it, and they talk about kind of like getting a little technical with chemistry, but for every 18 degrees hotter a motor oil runs or transmission fluid, it oxidizes twice as quick. and it's like breaking down anything, like breaking down motor oil or breaking down butter. The hotter you make it, it's going to basically burn off, it's going to vaporize, it's going to go into the air, it's going to thicken, and then eventually at a certain point it's going to burn. And once it burns, that's the end of the transmission. So how many have you seen come in all messed up, flaky?
Well, honestly, I didn't actually do a lot of transmission rebuilding over at Bob's Auto. Found myself doing a lot of R&R, pulled out, sent it off. So I actually done a lot of replacement of transmissions, but have lots of knowledge. And
Hey, how's it going, Larry? We got Larry tuned in. We got Mike C. Hey, how's it going, Mike C? I had a lot of metal breakdown from my last transmission change in December. Can I change the AMSOIL auto fluid and help smooth out shifting? Yes, I would definitely change it out. It's one of those things where, you're going to be to a certain point where if your transmission's wrecked, it's wrecked. There's nothing you can really do, Mike. But in the same token, if there's still life left in it, and you can help, get the Signature Series ATF fluid, kind of get some of those carbons off the old plates, the clutch plates. It'll help it shift a lot better, but transmissions are so sensitive, and it's good that you're able to have that learning experience early to see how close you can get and how easy it can get burnt. It's, and you can do oil analysis where you buy a little prepaid kit. AMSOIL sells it. It's called the UPS AMSOIL prepaid kit for oil analysis. I'll put that in the description later once I tag this video and get it all set up. But you can actually check out your ATF fluid if you're not sure if you should change it. If you don't want to guess, and you don't want to spend money prematurely, if you have fleet vehicles and stuff like that, which, speaking of fleet vehicles, we're actually looking for a 18-wheeler still. So if you have an 18-wheeler or a friend, definitely let them know. Get them in contact with me. My cell phone number is 702-472-3614. And we're looking for that truck to do an engine flush on it. So we're going to put the additive in, about 6 bottles of engine flush. We're going to get all the carbon deposits out of the crankcase. We're going to get all the carbon out of the turbo. And that oil is going to come splooging out like you wouldn't believe. It's going to be completely nuts. But I can't wait to see what that international or whatever type of diesel engine, it's going to be neat to see what that sounds like before and after. And it'd be nice to maybe get that microphone going. Maybe we'll get the microphone up against the engine, or try to make this better quality so you can really hear exactly the way it idles before and after. And also you should be able to hear the compression difference too. So we're going to have the truck drive, and he's going to let off the gas and engine brake. And you'll hear a lot of trucks, they go, and they have that back crackle. And you'll see on the highway they say no engine braking because it's so loud. But if you have more compression, you should hear more noise, and it should be more suction, more compression as we clean the rings and get all the carbon out. So that's going to be a lot of fun doing our first 18-wheeler. So if you have an 18-wheeler semi-truck, just reach out to me, leave a comment below, text me. Cell phone number 702-472-3614, and we'll do that. We'll set it up. I already got a lift all set up here in Henderson, Nevada. So we got the lift location set up. Now all we need is the truck and a driver that owns his own truck, that loves this truck. It'll be awesome to do the follow-up with it. And we're going to put in the Signature Series motor oil, 100% synthetic. And this stuff is going to last for the truck double the OEM interval. So an 18-wheeler is good for 15,000 miles. With the AMSOIL Signature Series Max Duty oil, that's going to be good for double that, so that'd be like 30,000. And then at that point, what the driver would do is he would actually take this little teeny weeny oil sample bottle looks like a you-know-what bottle, and and he's going to go ahead and take out a sample of oil, send it off to oil analyzers, or you can send it out to Blackstone's lab. I've had friends that use both. They're both great. I don't know what the big differences are. The big difference, I think, is the way they do the write-up on, they show all the metallic in the oil, and it's a little bit more thorough with the oil analyzers. It's easier to read. So you can actually get an oil analysis kit. In the description below, I'll put a little link to that. So you can check your ATF fluid if you're not sure if you should change it, and you can also check your motor oil too, or gear lube or anything else. And that's what all the commercial trucks do, is they do oil analysis. So that's their go-to.
When I was working at the surface miner, we were doing oil analysis on all the equipment.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Let's take a look
all
here.
the big trucks and stuff I was
Mike
working
C. We got our good man Larry. Thanks, Larry. He likes the better AMSOIL products. Cool. Mike C. Amco told me this, but you know how they are probably just trying to sell me a rebuild. But yeah, I'll try AMSOIL out. Thank you. Sweet. Mike C. Really appreciate it. Mike C. It's a Honda Civic 2005 with 166,000 miles, kept up with changes every 30,000 miles, but had metal glitter in my last auto trans fluid change. You're going to always have a little bit of metallic on anything. We got Cilio. We got Cilio. If I had a little glitter and just started, I would use AMSOIL to protect from further breakdown. Good idea. And then Mike C, last one. They told me a lot of glitter, but I don't trust Amco worth anything. It didn't seem any worse, but I'll still try it. Thanks. Sweet. Appreciate that, Mike C. So yeah, so you know, as far as double checking that type of stuff, you really want to watch the fluid go in. And as everyone knows, and he'll tell you, some of these mechanics, they might just keep this stuff, you know.
Stuff makes me sad to hear that, but it is a thing, honestly. It happens more at dealerships, honestly, but...
Or any place, you know, you just want to watch it go in. You know, Mike, if you do try this, which I hope you do, I'd love to hear the way it drives once you switch it out, because I know how much better the shift. It's amazing, and he's going to get a chance to experience this soon. He can't wait. So actually, we were going to do a flush on his truck, but his truck broke down.
Yep, we were talking about that.
But yeah, we're going to be doing an ATF fluid flush on his truck.
I figure that'll be coming up here in the next week or two.
Yeah, that'll be coming up. So, let's see what else. What else is important that everyone knows? What are you thinking?
That performance improver was impressive.
Tell them.
I'm still in shock. Putting a little bit of performance improver in my truck. It used to burn so much gas, and then it's running like half the amount of gas that it used to. But again, it's a 3-speed. It's got a V8. You know, you expect to burn a lot of gas. I just didn't expect to get such gains.
All right.
Or it's noticeable gains. Like,
I mean, so we did the flush, and then we did the PI. I mean, what would you guess the gains are percent-wise? Because on the bottle of AMSOIL PI cleaner, it says like up to 5.7% better gas mileage in just one bottle. I mean, what would you guess?
I'm not gonna say it's like 50% because that's way up there, but I feel like it's more than 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, so I guess it's conditional on the vehicle and the miles, and you know, this is a pretty rugged older engine.
It was well used.
Yeah, so I'm sure it had some carbon on the valves. So you know, if you have blow-by in any engine, and then you correct the blow-by problem, you're going to get much better power and gas mileage, more compression.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a lot of good stuff. My previous video that we just posted actually earlier today, we did a little info on those products, which you can check out. The Dominator Coolant Boost.
Yep.
And then we also did the PI Cleaner. We showed that. And that was good for just AMSOIL product information, so people know what they can add to their car, and it's not something like you have to take to a mechanic. It's not like you have to take it to a place to have it done. So that's nice. Let's see what else.
You were showing AMSOIL magazine. Tell them about that yet?
Yeah. So we showed the AMSOIL Preferred Customer magazine, and what it is, it's like a quarterly AMSOIL magazine you get it every 3 months, and they have summer, winter, fall, spring, and basically what it is it updates you on all the specifications. So if there's a new updated product or something new for your vehicle, say they updated a product code, they put that information. They put a lot of stuff like graphs on how much better the oil is for your vehicle, and they compare it to a lot of other lubricants. So they show exactly what's going in yours, and they show third-party independent testing. So it's not like someone just came up with data that's just hearsay. Like, you're just taking a little bit of hearsay from Zach on his truck, which you'll see the videos, but there is a lot of data on AMSOIL. It shows the exact figures, and that's actually in the Preferred Customer magazine. So if you were ever considering trying AMSOIL, I have my personal link below in the description and in the comment section. It's underneath my name. I say it's my AMSOIL link, and you can become a preferred customer for 6 months or a year. It costs like $10 for 6 months, and it costs $20 for the year, so it's the same price, 6 months or a year. And basically, you get 25% off all the products, doesn't matter what it is, oil, coolant, motor oil, additives, and then you also get free shipping on any order $100 or more. So it makes it really, really cost effective to buy the products. And truth be told, the AMSOIL as a preferred customer is the same price of any other oil.
Honestly, yeah.
So if you go to Wama or O'Reilly or any of these other places, it's going to basically be that same exact price of any other oil, but there's a catch. The catch is this is 100% synthetic. That's not like any of the other oils. So this is what goes in a turbine jet engine on like a jet. This is what goes in a Formula One car. This is the quality. It's not the exact viscosity. Meaning the viscosity may be different on a Formula One car. It might be.
The viscosity would be, they have a specific viscosity for that.
For that application.
The oil itself would be this same.
It'd be the same
type of oil.
100% synthetic. Exactly. And basically what it is, it's just that it's not a watered down full synthetic. So the full synthetic oils, if you're new to the channel and you haven't watched a lot of content yet, the full synthetics are a blend. And it's actually a mineral oil. Like a mineral oil is just something that's out of the earth. It's something that's refined, and it has irregular shaped molecules. So some of them are diamond shaped, like this. Some shapes are like a rectangle, and they have all these different shapes, and you have a lot more friction on your bearings, and you have a lot more wear in your pistons and cams. The oil thins out easier. It's a lot more volatile, mineral oil. So any type of full synthetic is going to thin out under high heat. You get this up to 250 degrees. This oil is just not going to thin out like a full synthetic.
Or if it does, it'll still have the right amount of film strength that you need to protect your engine.
It's still going to have a lot of extra film strength over a full synthetic or a synthetic blend. And so full synthetics and synthetic blends are the same thing. They have a portion of synthetic and they have a portion of mineral oil. And that's kind of the difference of it. This oil that I'm holding is good for 1 year, 25,000 miles. And it's good for 700 idling hours. So if you're a taxi cab or you do tons of idling, drive Uber, Lyft, got a bajillion Uber, Lyft drivers now out there. And I did my Uber, Lyft study where I did 10.7 months, 20,000 miles on one oil change. And I did that on a 2011 2.4 liter Honda Accord. Drove it here in Las Vegas. And the only thing I did in that 20,000 miles is I changed the Wix oil filter at 10,000, threaded on a new filter, and just kept driving. And that thing ran great. The oil got a little bit thicker. It got a little thick because I exceeded the idling hours. I think it did about 800 idling hours. So you're gonna thicken the oil, but the actual oxidation was good. Everything else was good. and I'll put a link to that video right here in the corner. And let's see, I think we got a lot of good time here. Let's see if we got other questions, and we'll wrap it up. I think Jeff's gone.
I think he's caught up. We're busy.
It's coming up on an hour. Live chat. All right. So we got any other questions here? Top chat. All right. I would like to know how the transmission does as well. Best of luck, Mike C. Sweet. All right. Thanks, Celio. Try it. I would save the transmission versus traditional oil. Save your trans. Mike C. Boom, boom. All right. So that's pretty good on that. Let's see. Live chat. All messages are available. Awesome. So we got through quite a bit of it. All right. Anything else? Anything else, Zach?
I don't have anything to add anymore. I pretty much said a lot about myself and what's going on, and I'm starting out as an AMSOIL dealer. This is exciting.
All right, sweet. So yeah, so we're just getting Zach ready, getting him into it, and I think we're gonna pretty much wrap it up here. I'm gonna throw a couple other links in that little icon. You'll see it in the corner. You can check out some of the playlists. A lot of great information on oil analysis and everything else we just talked about. And I'm also going to throw that transmission video up that I did about a couple weeks ago with a really good friend, Steven. So that pretty much sums it up. Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate you coming on the channel, man.
Oh, for
You're
sure.
the best. You're the best. All right.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time. Cheers to protection, protection, protection. Thanks. Here we go. Two.